February 19th, 2013, Los Angeles. The body of a 21-year-old woman is pulled from a rooftop water tank at the Cecil Hotel, a tank that had been supplying water to guests for 19 days. Elisa Lam was a University of British Columbia student from Vancouver, traveling alone through California on what her family described as a solo trip up the West Coast. She was bright, creative, and open about living with bipolar disorder and depression, conditions she managed with prescribed medication. According to her Tumblr posts from the journey, she was excited about the trip and had been documenting her experiences. She checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles on January the 26th, 2013. The Cecil had a notorious history. It had been home to multiple murders, suicides, and was once frequented by serial killers Richard Ramirez and Jack Unterweger. By 2013, it had rebranded part of the building as Stay on Main, a budget hostel aimed at international travelers. Elisa was originally assigned a shared dormitory room, but according to hotel staff, she was moved to a private room on the 5th floor after roommates complained about what they described as odd behavior. On January 31st, she was scheduled to check out and continue north to Santa Cruz. She never did. Elisa's parents reported her missing on February the 1st after she failed to check out and stopped returning phone calls. The Los Angeles Police Department opened a missing persons investigation. Detectives canvassed the area, reviewed hotel records, and interviewed staff. According to police statements, there were no signs of foul play in her room, and no witnesses reported seeing her leave the building. On February 14th, 2 weeks into the search, the LAPD released security footage from inside one of the hotel's elevators, recorded on the day Elisa was last seen. The video became the most examined piece of evidence in the case. The footage shows Elisa entering the elevator alone, pressing multiple floor buttons, then stepping into the corner as if hiding. She peers out into the hallway repeatedly, at one point stepping just outside the elevator doors and looking in both directions. She re-enters and presses more buttons. The elevator never moves. She begins making hand gestures, fluid, unusual movements with her hands and arms. At times, she appears to be speaking, though no audio was recorded. After several minutes, she walks out of frame. The elevator doors close, and it finally begins to move. Investigators stated that the video showed no evidence of anyone else present, though Elisa's behavior suggested she believed someone was there. 5 days after the video was released, on February 19th, hotel maintenance workers climbed to the roof to investigate low water pressure and complaints from guests about strange-tasting water. They found the access hatch to one of the 4 large water tanks open. Inside was Elisa's body, floating face up, fully clothed. Her personal belongings, room key, identification, and clothing were found nearby in the tank. According to the Los Angeles County Coroner's report, she had been dead for as long as 19 days. The autopsy found no trauma, no signs of physical assault, and no alcohol in her system. Toxicology results showed trace amounts of her prescribed medications: Wellbutrin, Lamictal, Seroquel, and Effexor, but at levels the coroner described as subtherapeutic, meaning lower than effective doses. The official cause of death was ruled accidental drowning, with bipolar disorder listed as a significant contributing factor. But the circumstances raised immediate questions. The rooftop was locked and required a key or alarm triggering access. Hotel staff told investigators the roof was alarmed and not accessible to guests. Yet somehow, Elisa reached it. The water tanks themselves posed another problem. Each tank stood roughly 10 feet tall, with a ladder on the side and a heavy lid on top. A maintenance worker told reporters the lids were difficult to open and required significant effort. How Elisa climbed the ladder, opened the lid, entered the tank, and then closed the lid behind her, whether intentionally or accidentally, has never been explained. Some have suggested the lid may have already been open, though hotel records do not indicate any maintenance issues in the days before her disappearance. Several theories have been examined over the years. The first, and the conclusion reached by the coroner, is that Elisa experienced a psychotic episode related to untreated or undertreated bipolar disorder. The subtherapeutic medication levels suggest she may not have been taking her prescriptions as directed. Psychiatric experts consulted by media outlets noted that her behavior in the elevator footage was consistent with hallucinations or paranoia. In this scenario, she accessed the roof through an unlocked or propped door, climbed into the tank in a confused state, and drowned after being unable to climb back out. The lid, according to this theory, may have been lighter than reported or left open. A second theory centers on the possibility of foul play. Some have pointed to the difficulty of accessing the roof, the weight of the tank lid, and the lack of clear motive for Elisa to enter the tank as evidence that someone else was involved. Online investigators noted that her body was found floating, which can occur after decomposition produces gases, but questioned how she remained clothed and positioned as she was. However, police found no evidence of forced entry, no surveillance footage of anyone else on the roof, and no forensic evidence suggesting another person was involved. A third theory, less examined by investigators but persistent online, involves the possibility of unintentional interactions with other hotel guests. The Cecil was known to house long-term residents, some with histories of mental illness or substance abuse. Could Elisa have been frightened by someone, leading her to flee to the roof? No witnesses came forward, and no one was identified as a suspect or person of interest. The case was officially closed as an accidental death, but questions remain. Why were her medication levels so low? How did she access the roof? Why did she enter the tank? And what, if anything, was she reacting to in the elevator? Today, more than a decade later, the death of Elisa Lam remains one of the most debated unsolved cases in recent memory. The Cecil Hotel has since closed and been converted into low-income housing. Her family has never spoken publicly beyond initial pleas for information. The answers, if they exist, lie somewhere in the gap between what the evidence shows and what it cannot explain. What do you think happened? Tell me in the comments.